Good afternoon. Liana Antonovich here with Equestrian Insider. Today I would like to talk about relationship between the trainer and the rider. The situation between the trainer and the rider, the ultimate goal of this relationship essentially is in enabling a rider, a horse owner, to acquire as much as possible of riding and horse management knowledge and skills to be able to train and compete and perform in different situations and develop various horses on its own. So delegation of transfer of skill set and knowledge in a very compressed period of time, that is the ultimate goal of the trainer-rider horse owner relationship. I'm talking in this video specifically about adult amateurs, and I will talk a little bit about professional riders, but not about junior young riders, because junior young riders do not own the budget for their horses, and therefore it is a very different conversation. We'll touch base on it a little later, another time. Let me touch base about how it happens in the professional riding school. There are these riding schools. There are not that many that I'm aware of in the North America. There are these riding schools in Europe and CIS countries, in Russia, where I am from. I'm from Belarus, but I lived and worked in Russia as well. Professional riding school is an entity where there are different divisions and where there is a great, very defined hierarchy of training, instruction, and coaching. And people get to these riding schools, whether they are state-owned and they riders get subsidy for their right to receive riding education, and you pay for your tuition yourself. No matter what it is, a rider or to-be rider is being first of all selected drop-off system. So, for example, if 100 of students are recruited into the first year of riding education, within approximately first month or two, about 40% drop, because they do not sustain, they do not survive requirements, speed of learning, and degree of self-sufficiency in a complex situation that riding education imposes on them. The first year experiences the greatest amount of drop-off. Out of 100, maybe 50 finish the first year. Second year, another 50% drop-off. The ones that complete second year of riding education have good chances to continue. Then the drop-off rate is not in double-digit numbers. It's in single-digit numbers. The amount of time and effort invested into these riders is already so great that trainers change their attitude, and instead of being hard on the students, they become their advocates, and they start pulling the students up to encourage them to continue, to keep momentum, or to accelerate. In the riding school, the system is that the first year students start on a lunge line, and then they are introduced to school horses, and then they come and they never know which school horse they will ride. So they are, within their very first year, exposed to a great variety of school horses of different types, ages, conformation, temperament, level of education. And what's good, these horses have been trained in different disciplines, in different workloads, and they are being maintained by professional instructors and berators. So it's not only the horses that are used by the student riders, but professional riders also mount them once or twice a week to maintain their level of sharpness and their reactions, and to make sure that everything is correct. The exposure to variety of horses in the first year and to different workloads in the first year gives students in the riding school, usually I need to give some numbers to that. Approximately a rider touches 7 to 10 horses within first year, and these horses are of different height, speed, gait type, everything. And with each of these horses, riders work on a flat, they do vaulting, they go over fences, all kinds of group riding in regiment, in a file, riding in twos. It's a lot. It's really a lot, as well as every once in a while on a lunge line. When these riders might be offered a privilege to mount more advanced horses, and these would be horses that are trained by other professional riders, and it would be once or twice a week, and that student becomes adjunct, or in Russia we say adjutant, or a following assistant to the main rider who trains that horse at a certain level, and at a certain discipline or a cross discipline. And that's where the real learning of specialization begins. Let's say that a mature advanced horse is a show jumper, or it is an eventer, or it is a dressage horse. The rider, the student rider, continues on school horses, but then in addition to that gets a privilege and the chance to hold the rein of an advanced horse, and that's within the same tuition. Not having horse ownership for a long time assures tremendous exposure, and what it does, it creates aggregation of nuances of diverse situations in a very compressed period of time, and then that enables riders then to accelerate in specialization 10 times better, faster than it would have if the rider would have not received that previous diverse education. It can be that the very, very best, after having received good feedback from professional riders, the very best students might be offered to start training one of the, or maintaining more seriously, like full-time, an older schoolmaster or an upcoming young horse. And then the scale of development goes that the rider, after training this horse for 2 years to a certain level, then hopefully receives another young horse, and then in another 2 years another young horse. A professional rider in a riding school usually maintains 3 to 4 horses, rarely 5. And it's not like riding for 20 minutes 8, 10, 12 horses as what professional riders do in commercial stables or in or performing competing riders. 20 minutes and they have a groom and they have this and that. No, in those schools you do everything for your horse yourself. Even if you have the groom does something extra, but all activity, taking the horse out of the stall, the horse has been groomed already, tack up, and taking the horse in and warm up, and main part of the training session, and cool off and bathing, that's what you do yourself. And that is in favor of holistic learning and holistic awareness of what's happening with your horse, with your partner, and also in favor of developing a very intimate relationship, which is what many professional riders in the modern commercial arena, they do not have this opportunity. Unless, if they don't spend only 20 minutes on a horse, then they cannot make their paycheck lucrative enough to sustain the life. But in a riding school, when you're on a subsidy, or when you have sponsors and they pay you tuition and things are going in a really focused, dedicated way, then it is 3-4 horses. And you can do more if you wish, but then it is already nuances and diversification of that main scenario. In North America, adult amateur starts, I'm not talking about junior young riders, I'm not talking pony club experience. Let's say it is a 20-year-old who started making first money and already can start taking lessons. It's all pretty much comes to, okay, where can I find the horse that I can start taking lessons on? And it is either a partial lease or borrowing of somebody's private horse, so this horse has one owner, or sometimes there are schools, and there are when school horses are owned by equestrian center or by trainers who tag them as school horses and offer them for beginning riders. That situation lasts for a very long time. Even if a horse is really good, it is really an exposure once, twice, 3 times a week, 4 times a week to just one horse for an extended period of time. It can be for a year. And then it can be maybe another horse. So you can already see how from the very start in commercial space, when there is no system that allows the rider to be introduced to a number of horses,